Hey, what's up, Scott Balcom here with Imagination Creation Films, and today, well, it's another continued build out of the van. We actually worked on it yesterday, but I did not film it, and it's probably a good thing because I would have just had to, I would have had to beep out quite a few words in there. But let me show you what I did, and it was a lot of work, and we installed an aftermarket radio, and there's a lot to it. If you have the 5-inch touchscreen on a Dodge Promaster or Ram Promaster, everything, the computer of the Dodge is tied into the actual radio. So you have to buy a whole lot of parts. It ended up costing about $200 in parts to hook it up. So you need the dash kit, you need the electrical harness adapter, but that harness adapter has to go into a Maestro, and that is a program device that goes to the computer and it ties to the OBD2 port. I mean, it really works well. I was quite shocked that it actually worked. Follow the instructions like to the letter, read them, because you have to unplug certain harnesses, plug other harnesses in, because it's a very flexible install. So yeah, we got the radio installed here. It's a touchscreen. That's a Pioneer 8200EX. And the biggest, I guess, factors that made me say words that I probably shouldn't have said was just this mounting. It's really hard to get this thing to fit with all of those little boxes, because that Pioneer has an XM module on the back, and then there's the Maestro module, there's the harness. The harness is huge. It's a lot. I also did not get the right adapter to get the built-in GPS antenna. I'll probably go back and do that, because right now I have 2 antennas sitting up in the front, which is okay. I lived with that for years, so I'm not really that big of a whiner about it. But I'm looking forward to that, using that radio now, and then I just need to replace the speakers in here. And then I'm gonna have to wire up some rear speakers. And then I have back here, I've got a sub that I used in previous builds, and a small amp. And my goal is to install it underneath one of them. I don't have the jack kit for some reason. Probably install it under there. And then that way I will have a nice booming sub. So we still have 2 more rolls to get and put on there. But today our goal is to, not insulation. Our goal is to add the vent fan on the roof. And kind of in a pickle as to whether to put it in the front or the back. There's pros and cons. I'm more inclined to the back, but I'm going to measure a couple of things and just make sure that it's everything we want. She doesn't want it in the back. I don't want it in the front, so I'm gonna win. But I mean, maybe we'll see. I will. It's yeah. I mean, we got to do some measurements and double check. No, we don't. And yeah, we'll install that. So I'll take you along as we install that in the back. All right, let's take you up here and show you what I've got in mind here. So we have at the very top, what I looked at was maximizing the availability of roof space up here. I'll perch myself on this ladder. So from the front to the back, you have basically 12 feet to play with. I am only planning on putting about 600 to 660 watts up here of solar, but I like the idea of either having a roof deck or being able to add a 3rd panel. I don't think I'm gonna need the extra panel, but if I put this in the back, which, I mean, clearly I've decided to do so, then that leaves me with 10 feet in front to the very front lip up there. So I could go a little bit further. But that front lip will allow for 3 panels up there in front of here, but we're only going to put 2 up in the front. And then I have basically a 4-foot small roof deck that I can put here. So here's the ring. Everybody's done these. This side goes down, so it goes like this. Okay, and then this goes on top. But this is where it would look right here, and then underneath you can see it actually goes to right about here from the back. So it's not way far back, but down it'll be snug up to about here, which I think looks good actually. And then as they tell you, measure twice, cut once. Don't ask me how I've learned that lesson. But then draw your line, use a framing square or T-square, whatever you, this not T-square, it's a framing square. And then draw it out, and then you're going to want to put tape. You don't need to put tape on the inside, it doesn't matter. But you need to put tape all the way up against the line, and then you just cut against the tape because you want to protect this paint right here. You don't care about that. So now we're going to mask it off and then, proceed. So we have this now taped off. Again, the inside line, this doesn't matter if you tape it because it's going to get cut out. This is the part you're protecting. You're just protecting it from scratches as you jigsaw along. Best way to do this would be to drill 4 holes in the corner, big enough for your jigsaw blade to go in. Make sure you use a very fine tooth blade. Don't try to use a wood blade because it'll just destroy this whole thing. And then make sure you pull up your bedding in the back because you get those metal shavings everywhere. And then from there, well, it's just a question of cut it out, and then we're going to mount this ring, and then we're going to put some wood strips underneath to screw into just for extra levels of protection. And you want to file it down and do a little spray paint on it just to protect that edge. I have just a little bit left and I will use it. Yeah. And then the last one. The reason it's hopping around is because I couldn't find a metal blade, so I'm using a 50/50, which is eh. But yeah, that's cutting it. And then I'm gonna do something that no one has ever done in van life. I'm gonna stick my head through it. All right, now let's see if it fits. Let's see, first time. Yeah, that wasn't the first time. I had to trim it. Oh, also wear safety glasses and hearing protection because you matter. Yeah, I do a little bit of trimming, but that's a good fit. You don't have to worry about these because we'll fill that with butyl tape. It's a thing. Now, a lot of people love to pull the plastic off of an iPhone, the screen, but you haven't lived until you've pulled the blue tape off of a vent install. It was so satisfying. And it always leaves a mess because you chop through it, but there we go. And you definitely want to get it all off because it's going to be the only thing that the butyl tape will be sticking to if you don't. There we go. If you pull diagonal opposite of the corner, it won't rip as much. It's going to rip. Just nice and slow. There's one big piece. And then we'll just grab this. Again, pull from the opposite angle, get your clean edge there. And you just want to hit it with a little bit of spray paint when this is up. And the spray paint will just basically keep it from rusting, because no matter how well you seal it, you're going to have a little bit of moisture going through the, oh, you can see I didn't do a great job right there. Shh, don't define by. So what you want to do now is, after you've sprayed it, next we're going to lay down some butyl. This is already dry, which is amazing. When it's 100 degrees outside, it dries pretty quick. And we're going to put some butyl tape on it, and then...
Why is there a hole in my roof?
Why? That was pretty good. So we have finished putting all the butyl tape. You can see I got several layers in there. This stuff is like clay. I mean, it's the best way to describe it. It's moldable. So you can just kind of push it into place. And what you're trying to do, because you're going to compress down, I got 2 layers on the least amount, and I've got, 5 layers on the most. And you just kind of cut them to shape and then fill them in. I mean, it's pretty dense. And then we'll just put the thing on top, the bracket, which is right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pre-drill all these holes to seal it. And then I'm going to go cut some strips inside to screw into. That way you get an extra seal. I mean, you can just go right into the metal, but I like to over-engineer everything because, well, I'm me, but that's it. So this is what it'll look like. And then we'll use this Dicor or Sikaflex, and we will cover each one of these screw holes and pour it over this. So you basically get this full, like it's like a silicone, but it's not. It's much better than silicone. It won't crack in UV. And that's pretty much it. So yeah. So you can see this will suck down as soon as we screw it down. And yeah, it's firm fit, no leaks, guaranteed. So as you can see here, I have placed the Sikaflex on here, and you know, again, it's not a beauty contest. You're just trying to be effective. So I'm not going to win any prizes for the most beautiful Sikaflexed vent cover, but it is 100% full. So you just fill in all the gaps, and then use your finger to spread it all out, and then just kind of like you're doing cake. You just go along the edge, and then you swirl around the screws, and you know, you're just trying to fill in all the gaps. There shouldn't be any problems anywhere, but you know, just push that in just like that. That's all a little gap, and just let it dry. Just don't get it in this crack here at all, because then you'll be fishing it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then that just screws right down into it on 4 screws on the side. Yeah. And you have a vent fan that I will let dry while I consume a large amount of lemonade, because it's hot.